Over 60? Prevent muscle loss fast with 5 Japanese longevity moves. Here's something crazy. Most Americans start falling apart physically around age 66. After that point, it's basically a downhill slide of doctor visits, medications, and needing help with stuff you used to do yourself. But check this out. Japan's got nearly 100,000 folks who've hit triple digits, and they're still crushing it. We're talking about people over 100 who walk to get their groceries, think clearly, and live independently. What's the deal? It's not some miracle cure or fancy DNA. They're not dropping tons of cash on supplements either. Here's the real story. Way back in 1928, Japan started this nationwide thing where everyone does the same 6 simple moves every morning. Kids do them, working adults do them, and grandparents do them. No fancy equipment, no gym membership. Just 15 minutes that can literally add years of strength and balance to your life. I'm going to walk you through each of these 6 moves today. You'll see exactly how to do them right, no matter what shape you're in. More importantly, you'll understand why they work so well for keeping you strong as you age. Real quick, tell us your name and where you're tuning in from down in the comments. We love connecting with everyone. Move number 1. Let's jump right in with something sumo wrestlers have been doing for over 1,500 years. Don't worry, you don't need to be built like a sumo wrestler to get massive benefits from this. This move is called shikodachi, and it's basically the sumo stance. What makes it so special? It builds exactly the kind of leg power that older folks need for real-life stuff. Standing up from chairs, walking upstairs, staying balanced, and avoiding nasty falls. Here's your step-by-step. First, spread your feet out way wider than your shoulders. We're talking double the width. Point your toes out at about a 45-degree angle. Now comes the tricky part. Slowly drop your hips down like you're trying to sit between your legs, not behind them like a regular squat. Keep your back straight and your chest proud. If you need to, put your hands on your thighs for a little extra support. Start by just holding this position for 20 to 30 seconds. Feeling wobbly? No problem. Stand next to a wall or grab onto a solid chair. As you get stronger, work your way up to holding it for a full minute or 2. You're going to feel this working your front thigh muscles, your glutes, and those inner thigh muscles that most people over 50 have basically forgotten about. These are what I call your independence muscles. When they're strong, you move like you're 20 years younger. When they're weak, that's when stairs start looking scary. Scientists have actually studied this stance and found out it fires up more leg muscles than regular squats, but it's way easier on your joints. Plus, that wide hip position helps reverse all that tightness you get from sitting around too much. Get this move down, and you've got the foundation for everything else we're going to do. Move number 2, Nekoashi Dachi. If that sumo stance gave you solid ground to stand on, this next move is going to wake up the part of your body that quietly saves your butt every single day, your balance system. This one's called Nekoashi Dachi, or the cat stance. It comes from traditional karate and copies how a cat carefully tests the ground before it jumps. It looks simple, but it's incredibly powerful for your ankles, hips, and core. Here's how you set it up. Stand with one foot just slightly in front of the other. Your front foot should barely touch the ground, just the ball of your foot, like a cat gently pawing at something. Your back foot stays planted and carries most of your weight, about 70%. Both knees stay a little bent and keep your hips facing straight ahead. This is going to feel weird at first. That's exactly what we want. This position turns on all those deep stabilizer muscles that most people haven't used in years. It sharpens up your ankle control, makes your foot arch stronger, and forces your core to work to keep you upright. These are the exact muscles that keep you from slipping and falling when you're walking on uneven ground or stepping off a curb. Start by holding this for 20 to 30 seconds on each side, and definitely stay close to a wall or chair while you're learning. Once you get the hang of it, try adding small weight shifts or slow arm movements to really challenge your stability. Here's something cool. Physical therapists in Japan actually use this stance to help people retrain their balance after injuries. That's how good it is. Once you're comfortable with this, we're going to take things down to the floor and learn about an old-school sitting position that can fix your posture better than any back brace. Move number 3, Seiza, proper sitting position. Time to hit the floor, but don't panic. This isn't about being super flexible or dealing with pain. This is about resetting your posture from the ground up, just like Japanese people have been doing for hundreds of years. This position is called Seiza, which basically means proper sitting. Back in the day, this was how everyone sat during meals, tea ceremonies, and meditation. Today, it's a gentle but incredibly effective way to stretch out all the muscles that cause posture problems after you hit 50. Get down on your knees on something soft, a mat, carpet, whatever. Keep your knees together and tuck your feet underneath you so the tops of your feet are flat on the floor. Then slowly sit back onto your heels, keeping your back tall and relaxed. Feeling tight in your knees or ankles? That's totally normal. Just grab a firm cushion or yoga block and put it between your heels and your butt. That little adjustment makes a huge difference. Why does this work so well? Because this sitting position stretches out those tight hip flexor muscles and quads, the exact muscles that pull your body into that slouched, hunched-over, old person posture. It also turns on your deep core muscles and spinal stabilizers. When you sit in a regular chair, those muscles basically take a nap, but in this position, they have to work. Start with just 30 seconds to a minute, then gradually build up to 3 to 5 minutes a day. Do it while you're watching TV or just relaxing, and it'll quietly start changing how you sit, stand, and walk. Now that your posture is starting to wake up, it's time to tap into something deeper, not just for your body, but for your brain and nervous system too. If you've stuck with me this far, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your first name, your age, and where you're watching from. I read every single one, and I'll be picking a few people to send a printable cheat sheet of all 6 moves so you can reference them easily. Move number 4, Zazen, seated meditation. You've started unlocking better posture with that Seiza position. Now let's go deeper, not just into your hips and spine, but into your whole nervous system. Zazen literally means seated meditation, and it's way more than just sitting still. This is a powerful holding pattern that comes from Zen monasteries, where monks would hold it for hours every day. They weren't just doing it for spiritual reasons. They were building serious physical strength and endurance. Here's how to set yourself up. Sit on the floor cross-legged. If you can do full lotus or half lotus, awesome. If not, just sit crisscross style. That works perfectly. Now here's the key. Put a firm cushion under your hips. This little elevation makes it way easier to keep your spine naturally tall. Picture a string attached to the top of your head, gently pulling you toward the ceiling. Let your shoulders drop, tuck your chin just slightly, and rest your hands comfortably in your lap. Now just breathe. That's it. But don't think this is easy. This position is firing up your deep core muscles, including the ones that protect your spine and improve your balance. Meanwhile, your hips are getting a deep stretch, especially if you do this consistently. But here's where it gets really interesting. Research shows that Zazen actually switches on your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the part of your brain that tells your body it's safe to relax and heal. This helps lower stress hormones, calm your mind, and even helps your cells repair themselves. Start with just 5 to 10 minutes a day, focusing on slow, natural breathing. Over time, work up to 15-20 minutes. You'll notice a shift not just in your spine, but in how you handle stress, how you sleep, and even how you deal with pain. Once your core is awake and your nervous system is on your side, it's time to rebuild real strength from the legs up with a stance that was designed by samurai warriors. Move number 5. The horse stance. If Zazen tuned up your inner strength, this next move is where we bring that power outward with a solid, grounded stance that samurai warriors and karate masters used to train for battle. Don't worry, you're not training for war. You're training for independence. Kibadachi means horse stance, and it copies the stable position you'd have sitting on a horse. It's designed to build deep leg strength and side-to-side stability, plus wake up muscles that most people completely stop using after 50. How to do? Stand with your feet a bit wider than shoulder width. Add about 1 extra foot on each side. Keep your feet pointing straight ahead, not turned out like in the sumo stance. Now bend your knees and drop your hips like you're sitting in an invisible chair. Keep your spine tall, engage your core, and let your arms hang relaxed at your sides. Hold this for 20 to 30 seconds and do it 2 to 3 times. Over time, work up to holding it for 1 to 2 minutes per round. You're going to feel the burn. That's your quads, inner thighs, glutes, and deep hip stabilizers all firing at once. Why does this matter so much? These are the muscles that stop you from falling sideways, help your hips and knees work together properly, and keep your joints healthy long term. Studies even show that this horse stance improves something called proprioception. That's your body's sense of where it is in space and how it's moving. This naturally gets worse as you age, which is why older folks sometimes stumble or misjudge steps. Train this consistently, and you'll feel way more stable walking on uneven surfaces, stepping off curbs, or even just getting out of bed in the morning. The magic isn't in the perfection, it's in the consistency. Think about this. What if 6 months from now you're climbing stairs without thinking twice? What if you're getting up from chairs without using your arms, using only leg muscles? What if you're walking on uneven ground with complete confidence? Your future self is counting on the decision you make right now. These movements have been tested by time, literally centuries of time. They've helped millions of people age with strength and dignity. Now it's your turn. Your journey to moving like someone 20 years younger starts today. Will you take that first step? Remember to drop your name and location in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you and celebrate your progress along the way. Watch our next critical video, which coffee ingredient saves muscle strength after 60, cacao or cocoa?